beautiful thing. Not very many people get to see.
Once you come into the neighborhood, you are a part of the family.
You can be a good person or a bad person. It's your choice.
Stop complaining and go actually do something.
Now you can stream even more documentaries with Passport on the PBS Video app.
You're watching New England Public Media on WGBY Springfield. The spears, the beers, the bands. It's the return of the NEPM Asparagus Festival, signaling the start of summer.
I love it. Great crowd, lots of local love, and of course, amazing food.
Join PBS Kids' Curious George for the community event of the season. Visit local farmers and makers, dance to live music from Signature Sounds bands, and taste dozens of local foods and craft beers. The NEPM Asparagus Festival, Saturday, June 4th on the Hadleytown Common. Details at nepm.org/asparagus.
Coming up, we're connecting you with the creativity and culture in your community, including a sculptor who spent more than 50 years honing his craft.
Take a piece of wood and I keep it here for over a year sometime before I can feel the energy of it, the vibration of it.
An award-winning local author's new book explores teenage life in the age of social media.
Now, it's not just that you didn't get invited to the party, I can see the photos of everyone else who did get invited to the party.
And we're heading into the woods to explore the natural beauty of Worthington, Massachusetts.
It connects some really large parcels of protected land and creates these north-south corridors, which are really important for wildlife.
Join us for those stories and more as we explore the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. Up next on Connecting Point.
Support for Connecting Point is provided by our contributing viewers.
Welcome, and thanks for joining us for Connecting Point, your source for creativity, culture, and community. I'm Saidalis Bauer. We're coming to you today from Worthington, Massachusetts, in the heart of Hampshire County. This rural community is an outdoor lover's paradise, and some of the best spots for hiking and outdoor recreation in Western New England can be found here. We'll explore one of them, the Conwell property, which is maintained by the Hilltown Land Trust, a bit later in the program. But we begin the show today with the story of a master craftsman. As a little boy in Jamaica, Elton Braithwaite took an old screwdriver that he found on the side of the road, sharpened it into a chisel, and began to carve wood. Not knowing it at that time, that screwdriver would lead to a lifetime of wood carving. Today, more than 50 years and thousands of pieces later, he continues to carve as well as educate the next generation, and he shares his story with producer Dave Frazier.
And this is my life. I spend my time alone most of the time, just carving and listening to music. Because music really inspires me to do what I do.
With chisel and hammer, Granby artist Elton Braithwaite transforms old tree trunks, roots, and branches into delicate and dramatic works of art. The 73-year-old native of Jamaica says the work he does is possible because of the respect he has for the wood and the spirit of every tree.
You cannot carve a piece of wood without the spirit. I cannot approach it. I have to take a piece of wood and I keep it here for over a year sometime before I can feel the energy of it, the vibration of it, the direction of it, and then I carve.
On a recent weekday in April, we found Braithwaite in his backyard, carving amongst the many sculptures he has created. Out front are more, and inside his living room, even more. He describes his work as both unique and ancient. It is diverse and multicultural. It is spiritual, created first by Mother Nature, then revealed by the artist himself.
And always know that you never make a piece of work for yourself, for your collection. You always create for other people, for the world, to see something that never exists.
Braithwaite was the youngest of 12 children growing up in Jamaica. He studied at a Jamaican art school, winning some awards and scholarships. He moved to this region from New Jersey in 1982, and since that time has become a familiar figure in both artistic and educational circles.
Well, there's only one Elton so far right now. I won't be here forever. So that's my number one thing. Give it back. I really do classes also. I do classes here. And during that time, it's not only about carving. It's about life experience. So I try to get into your world to see what's in you, what I can help you with, because I got to do it.
So what I'm doing is just really shaping it. And this is the first process that you got to do when you carve.
Braithwaite prefers hardwoods like maple, black walnut, cedar, and ash. His art has landed in galleries and exhibits across New England and in other parts of the country, as well as in his homeland of Jamaica.
When you have the wood outside and it rains and go through the weather, it changes and becomes its own. Because this wood is actually bleeding. You can see it's red inside here. But that's what was in the wood. You know, maple trees, they make syrup from it. And that's all these things, you can see that is really true. It's a maple wood.
The process of wood carving is hard work, I can say. Hard work. The thing is, you have to commit your energy, your spirit to what you're doing. Using a mallet and have a chisel in this hand and going like this all day long is not a joke. This is some serious work. That's why I call my hands the hands of one man. Because it's not my hands. Somebody else is using it to do that. It's a great energy. It's a labor of love. I've been doing this all my life.
Every week, Connecting Point explores the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England, but it doesn't stop there. You can find us online anytime for exclusive features and content. In the front yard of wood sculptor Elton Braithwaite's Granby home sits a 12-foot wood carving that he calls Tree Spirit. And while it's one of many that the 73-year-old artist has created, Tree Spirit is one of his favorites, and he explains why in this digital exclusive.
He even got a beautiful heart right here. So you see, everything make up this. So what was in the tree, it tells me what to do with it. I didn't draw on it. I just do it naturally.
You can find that digital exclusive available online right now at nepm.org/connectingpoint. Award-winning local author Crystal Maldonado is back with her sophomore book entitled No Filter and Other Lies. It tells the fictional story of a 17-year-old girl who lives a made-up life online, which eventually comes crashing down around her. Maldonado joined me to talk about how the book explores teenage life in the age of social media and how her career as an author began.
I loved libraries growing up and going to bookstores. And I think it really began as just kind of a fun thing for my family to do with us kids, right? Like summer break, what do you do when you have 3 kids at home? It's like, take them to the library, take them to do something. And so we found ourselves at our local library pretty often, and we would check out books, and I immediately fell in love with these stories that I was reading. And I loved that I felt like I could go on these adventures without actually leaving my house or actually going anywhere. So I started daydreaming a lot and well, what would it be like if I started making up these stories and writing them? And so, I mean, I didn't know you could really become an author, but around 3rd grade, I was like, I love writing and I don't know what this means, but I'm going to just write these fun little stories for me and my friends. And so it started that early for me. And then it wasn't probably until, probably only a couple years ago that I realized, oh, you can make this into a career or at least try to, if you're lucky, right? But yeah, it took until I was, well into my 20s before I thought, perhaps I can write a book and maybe someone will want to publish it.
And here we are talking because you have 2 published books. So yes. Let's talk about your sophomore book, No Filters and Other Lies. It was released earlier this year and tells the story of a 17-year-old girl who is living a made-up life online, and inevitably things get messy.
Yes.
Tell me, where did the inspiration come from to write this book?
So there were a couple of things that sort of inspired me for No Filter. So one is truly my love and obsession with social media. So like I think a lot of us, I spend a lot of time on my phone and on Instagram. And I've always had a really positive relationship with social media, but I worked in it as well as like a brand manager. And I sometimes got to see the not so pretty sides of it. And so it got me thinking a lot about, well, what is it like being a teenager now and growing up with that pervasive feeling of always being online. And I think we don't give enough credit to young folks who are dealing with that. Like, I grew up in a time where you actively could choose to go online, and it was like a thing. Like, you go on the computer and you log on and you could log off, and you don't have that choice anymore. And so it's, I think, really, really jarring and also really tough when you're in middle school and in high school and your whole life has been documented on social media. And then you have the pressures you normally would of, do I fit in? Do I have friends? Am I popular? Do people like me? But now it's amplified. Now it's not just that you didn't get invited to the party. I can see the photos of everyone else who did get invited to the party. So I wanted to explore that and that feeling, I think, of just kind of loneliness and the yearning for that validation through Kat, and how she's this girl who she's just trying to figure herself out, and she uses social media as something, she wants to use it for this professional reason to get validation for her art, but really she kind of wants the validation for herself. And it I think I hope I created someone who's kind of complicated in that sense. Like, yeah, of course she does a bad thing. You should never steal someone's identity, but we kind of see how she would feel so compelled to do that. So I wanted to kind of explore that through the lens of someone who does the catfishing, because I think that's so much more interesting than someone being catfished. I feel like that story is too sad,
Your first book, Fat Chance, Charlie Vega, and this book, No Filters and Other Lies, both of them have a lot of representation in that book. And I know that that's a really important aspect of writing for you. So tell me, why is that important? And what impact would it have had on like a little Crystal's life to have seen that representation as a young reader?
Oh, that is such a good question. So little Crystal, as we said, was like such an avid reader, but I definitely went through this moment in my life as I was growing up where I'm like, I love these books and I love these characters, but do they actually love me back? Because I never saw anybody who looked anything like me in these books. None of them, it was rarely Latina characters. I felt like I never saw specifically Puerto Rican characters. I rarely ever saw fat characters. So there were just all these things and identities that I had that I thought, well, I must be abnormal because I'm never seeing these identities reflected back at me. And I think there's so much power in having representation be at the forefront of these stories. Once you start to see yourself, you feel a little less insecure about who you are, and you can sort of look at others and feel a little bit more empathetic for them too, because you're not out there fighting for your life,
Right. So you are an extremely busy woman. You have a full-time career on top of your writing career, on top of being a mom and a wife. And you released 2 books in the span of 1 year. So
I did.
Kudos to you. Where do you find the drive to keep going?
Oh man, I ask myself the same thing some days because I'm like, can I just take a nap? For me, a lot of it is just the love of the actual writing, and getting to meet with readers and students is something that really, really motivates me. So I obviously my books came out during the pandemic, so it was really hard to talk to actual teens who were reading the books. And so very recently I started doing things like school visits and library visits. And that is something that I feel like when we talk about filling our cup and just like refilling that well, that is it for me, because it's getting to talk, face to face or even virtually with young readers who are like, I am exactly like Charlie, or I have a friend group like Kat's friend group, or I want a dog like Cash from No Filter. And those things end up making me feel like, oh, this is why I'm doing this.
And for more from author Crystal Maldonado, log on to our webpage for a digital extra as she shares an excerpt with us from her sophomore book entitled No Filter and Other Lies. In this passage, we get a glimpse of how 17-year-old Kat Sanchez, a quiet and sarcastic teenager, begins to get the idea to make up a separate identity on social media.
If my work is so good, how come it flops every time I share it on Instagram? It makes me so upset. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but my account is practically dead. Just over 200 followers, way less than 50 likes per photo, and next to 0 comments. Yet my aesthetic on the account is amazing.
You can find that digital extra online right now at nepm.org/connectingpoint. Managed by the Hilltown Land Trust, the Conwell property is a scenic forested landscape in rural South Worthington, Massachusetts. Once owned by Russell Conwell, the 70-acre area has 3 miles of trails with features including Conwell Pond and Eagle Nest Ridge. And Connecting Point's Brian Sullivan brings us the story.
Route 112 may be one of the lesser traveled rural highways here in Massachusetts, but the natural beauty and New England charm found on this 54-mile stretch of road that cuts through parts of Hampshire and Franklin counties can surely hold a candle to some of the more well-known travelways in the area. Drivers passing through can soak in the sounds of the West Branch of the Westfield River, or get an eyeful of the engineering marvel known as the Knightsville Dam in Huntington. But today, we're heading to the town of Worthington, or more accurately, South Worthington. The destination, the 70-acre Conwell property, which has about 3 miles of out-and-back trails. It's a parcel that the Hilltown Land Trust has had since 2017, but weren't able to open it to the public due to a lack of parking. That all changed after this bridge over the Little River was renovated in 2021.
When we received the donation of land, the property had a lovely network of trails, but there was no place to enter the property from a public road where people could safely park their cars. So we explored a variety of options for parking before opening the land to the public, and eventually through a partnership with Mass Wildlife, the State Department of Fish and Game created a parking area on Mass Wildlife's land just to the south, where people can walk over a bridge along 112 that goes over the Little River and then enter the network of public trails on this property.
Proximity to the modern world quickly becomes a distant memory as hikers trek across the hilly landscape. Aside from this little stream, which requires a hop to get across, the trails are pretty dry and can be taken on in a pair of sneakers. Winter months, with the snow on the ground, may require more substantial footwear. But the property wasn't officially open to the public until early spring of this year, which in New England is a great time to watch and listen to the sounds of winter melting away.
Opening up this property has been very gratifying. It's a great piece of land for people to enjoy, to experience nature without having to go through a lot of effort. In addition to that, it's a great parcel of land in terms of wildlife habitat. It connects some really large parcels of protected land and creates these north-south corridors, which are really important for wildlife.
Luckily, in my travels, I never come across any of that wildlife, which could include anything from bears to moose and possibly bobcats. Although I would have loved to see the woodpecker that created these holes and left this enormous pile of wood shavings. But more than just the simple enjoyment of taking in the sights and sounds of nature, there are healthy psychological and physical components to heading out to trails like these as well.
If it seems like there's some kind of primal urge that brings us back to nature, it's because there probably is. Studies have shown that being in the forest helps to boost the immune system and lower blood pressure. It increases focus and energy, and it improves sleep. I'll take that.
As easy as it is to feel comfortable walking along these trails, it's just as easy to get lost in any woods here in New England. That's why it's important to keep an eye out for the abundance of markings on the trees to make sure that travelers stay on the right path. It's also important to remember that these markings and these trails didn't just appear here by magic. They were put here by other nature lovers who, in all probability, didn't get paid for their efforts.
It's people who donate their time to us because they care about places like Conwell. They have joined us on work days to come out and clear some of these trails and do some blazing, and they've been a big part of helping people become aware about this place and getting people to come out here. But the reason we're able to join each other today in Conwell is because of our volunteers.
And if you love to explore the outdoors, head over to Connecting Point Online for a digital extra as the Community Engagement Coordinator for the Hilltown Land Trust discusses the calming effect that being in nature can have on adults and children, particularly those with ADHD.
Bringing kids out into the woods, I personally notice that the behavior of kids is a lot easier to manage. I think we're kinder to each other out here.
You can find that digital extra and so much more at nepm.org/connectingpoint. Inspired by Venezuela's El Sistema music education program, Kids for Harmony is an ensemble-based music program for social justice change. This free, intensive classical music program currently serves over 60 elementary to high school age students in Pittsfield and North Adams. I spoke with Courtney Clark, Artistic Director, and Sean Elligers, Assistant Director, to hear more about the impact this remarkable program has had on its students.
So typically with social services, people come in when there's already a problem or an issue in their lives. And with Kids for Harmony, we're establishing those relationships with the students and the families early on. So then later on down the road, if something does happen, they already have a support system that they're connected to.
And right now, the program currently serves over 60 students in Pittsfield and North Adams in the Berkshires. How have you both witnessed this art form impact the children? And how have you also witnessed this art form and music impact social change?
I think every day I witness something really nice happening with our students. I think one of our goals in general is to just give the students an outlet to feel good about themselves. And we try to do that through a bunch of different things, whether it's performance or we actually offer composition to our students as well. So whether a student is practicing really hard and getting into an audition that they worked really hard to get into and makes them feel good about that way, or just achieving, they play a couple measures of music really well and they feel good about themselves that way, or they compose a piece of music and their students, their peers are telling them that was a great piece, really, really great. And that just makes them feel good, and you can tell that motivates them to keep going. I don't know, that's the change that I see every day, and it's really, really rewarding.
I can imagine the confidence boost that being part of this program gives the students.
I've also seen a change in the families as well, because, they get to see their kids perform, and it just gives them hope, and it lets them celebrate their kids. The goal of our social service agency and Kids for Harmony is to provide as much access as we can to the program. So we meet in the public schools, so we eliminate the transportation need. Everything is at no cost. So that access to the program is a really big part of the social change.
And having worked in Kids for Harmony, what has a moment been that has happened that has really made you think to yourself, like, wow, this is exactly why I do what I do?
We have a lot of students, when they get a little bit older, they audition for summer music festivals. And one of those is the Yola National Festival out in Los Angeles. And if they're able to get into this festival, then it's an all expenses paid flight out there, all the room and board and everything. And they practice music intensively all day. And they get to connect with other kids from other El Sistema inspired programs and other teachers. And there's a lot of the teachers also go out for a music educator symposium. And so we get to see all of our students get together and perform together. And those big opportunities like that are what make the everyday little things worth it.
I run the composition program, so I'm really close with the kids as they work on constructing their own pieces. And recently, one of our students, Davis, was asked to write a full symphony, which he did, and just handing him the printed out score, he was like running around celebrating, like, it's here, it's ready. And he's just over the moon, and he's so excited, and that's just I don't know, it's just so exciting to see.
Talking about like writing a full symphony, like this is some high level musical excellence and success that the children achieved during Kids for Harmony. I know, Courtney, you were talking about the Los Angeles trip. Tell me more about some of the amazing opportunities that have come about for the students that have been part of this program.
We have a lot of opportunities that range from smaller things in the community to bigger things like the trip to Los Angeles. We perform for a lot of different community events, so the kids can get connected to the community that way. There's also, through that Yola National Festival I was talking about, they have a more intensive program where we had a student able to travel to Scotland and London before the pandemic happened to connect with other musicians more on a global scale. And we've also been very lucky to perform with world-renowned pianist Emmanuel Axe. Being able to watch the students work with him is also another really fantastic opportunity for the kids.
What are some of the things that the kids have taught you about yourselves during Kids for Harmony?
Patience, for sure. And just creativity. And it's, as the kids get older, it's just developing that relationship with them is really, really nice. And just being able to talk with them, not just about music, but about other things in their lives too. And just building that relationship and feeling like you're a mentor to them is really nice. It really makes the work very valuable.
And that does it for this edition of Connecting Point. Remember, you can always find all of the stories that you saw in this episode, as well as exclusive features, digital-only content, and so much more online anytime at nepm.org/connectingpoint. Our thanks to the Hilltown Land Trust and the community of Worthington for hosting us today. And please be sure to join us again every week right here for more stories of the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. I'm Sidalis Bauer. Thanks for watching and take care.
Support for Connecting Point is provided by our contributing viewers.
Colombia, shrouded by decades of conflict, its mysteries are finally revealed. Come explore Colombia, Wild and Free.
Colombia, Wild and Free, May 18th at 10.
I could see myself in Nathan's shoes, taking that wrong turn. The kid almost took everything away from me. Medical bills, I'm in serious debt. Maybe I'm searching for something in him. Is there hope?
When Claude Got Shot, Monday at 10 on Independent Lens.
I'm Ann Bronner, and I'm the owner of Summerlin Floors in Amherst. We support NEPM 110%. It's a shared resource we can all benefit from. Our philosophy here at Summerlin Floors is we like to give our donation dollars to as many local entities as we can. But in the end, NEPM reaches the largest audience.
Expand your reach. Become a New England Public Media sponsor. Email sponsorship@nepm.org.
Meet Duke Kahanamoku, whose spiritual connection to the water turned him into an American master.
Aloha.
He became an Olympic champion who introduced both Hawaii and a new culture to the world.
Duke Kahanamoku is the king of surfing.
The ambassador of Aloha.
Look for a genuine waterman when Duke comes to American Masters.
Meet the Waterman Tuesday at 9 on NEPM.
66 million years ago,
the dinosaurs vanished.
A lot of the fossil record is really missing.
Now, a team of scientists may have found something extraordinary.
Oh, wow.
The day the asteroid hit.
The potential is huge.
Dinosaur apocalypse. The new evidence.
You're in for a bunch of chaos.
On Nova.
Watch Dinosaur Apocalypse Wednesday or stream at nepm.org. Resilience, ingenuity, creativity. Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have enriched America's history, society, and culture, and are instrumental to our past, present, and future. This month and every month, NEPM celebrates the wide array of values, beliefs, and traditions, and AAPI community's extraordinary impact on our national identity. Explore these stories throughout the month on NEPM and at nepm.org.
You're watching New England Public Media, WGBY Springfield.
The NEPM Asparagus Festival is coming. It's a huge celebration. There's music and food and plenty of fun stuff for kids. Climb a tractor, meet Curious George, and Nature Cat. The NEPM Asparagus Festival. Saturday, June 4th. On the Hadley Town Common. You can go to nepm.org/asparagus to find out.